No comment to Fox and the DOJ as of this hour. A source there saying that there are several investigations into people around Newsom, including his wife and his former chief of staff, and they originate from whistleblowers.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So what we have here today is Governor Gavin Newsom recently put out a video claiming that President Donald Trump and the Department of Justice has been targeting him. But this is proving to be false because there's been no reporting suggesting that Governor Gavin Newsom is actually under investigation. His wife, however, is under investigation, and we're going to get into the reason as to why that is, because I think it's going to shock you. But Governor Gavin Newsom, he's trying to capitalize off of this. He's trying to create the narrative that he's being targeted politically. Let us get into it by starting with this video of Governor Gavin Newsom making these claims, and then we'll actually be able to give you what's being reported out there and why his wife is being investigated. Play clip.
One by one, anyone who has challenged Donald Trump has ended up on his hit list. And today, I proudly join that list. After calling for my arrest last year, Donald Trump directed his Department of Justice to investigate me. And just in the last week, I've learned that his campaign has reached my own home. To get me, he's coming after my wife, Jen, a public servant, a woman who's dedicated her life to supporting women and girls, someone who has done nothing wrong other than having the temerity to advocate for what she believes in. If they can't intimidate me, they'll go after the mother of our children. Donald Trump picked the wrong target. We have nothing to hide. His political operatives can take every record and read every page, but they'll be looking in the wrong place.
That was Governor Gavin Newsom claiming that he's being targeted, that he's being investigated by President Trump and the Department of Justice, and that his wife is being targeted as well, Sibyl Newsom. I believe that is how you say her name. But Governor Gavin Newsom, in this press conference or video that he released, he left out a lot of information. And here we have this article by CNN explaining exactly what is going on. The Department of Justice is investigating Gavin Newsom's wife, according to a person familiar with the matter. Newsom also claimed that he was a target in the investigation, though the source said that the governor himself is not being investigated. The U.S. Attorney's Office in the Eastern District of California is leading probes into people connected to Newsom over possible tax-related crimes, and his wife, Jennifer Newsom, is among them, said the person familiar with the matter. So as you can see, based on this reporting, people familiar with the matter, what they're saying is that Gavin Newsom is not actually under investigation, but his wife, however, is under investigation for possible tax-related crimes. That is what's being reported right here. And here we have this video to show you explaining exactly what Mrs. Newsom may be under investigation for. Play clip.
Today, I'm going to shed some light on what might be behind the U.S. Department of Justice investigation of California Governor Gavin Newsom and his wife, or first partner, Jennifer Sibyl Newsom. The Newsoms say that it is all politically motivated, that President Donald Trump is trying to prevent Gavin Newsom from running for president in 2028. Well, that could be. But on the other hand, there has been an open scandal in California politics for many years now around something called behested payments. These are donations that politicians request from wealthy donors to be given to nonprofits or charities of the politician's choice. Previously, these were hidden in the shadows, and critics called it a form of legalized corruption. But in 2021, there were some ethics reforms that required politicians to report any behested payments of $5,000 or more. That's partly why we know who's requesting the money and where it's going. Gavin Newsom was known to have requested millions of dollars in donations to a nonprofit organization founded by his wife called the California Partners Project, which deals with gender equity issues. And sometimes he asked for these donations from companies or interests that had business before the state government. That raised issues of conflict of interest. Newsom, of course, denies any wrongdoing, but it does look a little bit shady, and it raises questions about transparency in California government.
What's being reported here is that there may be legal or ethical issues regarding the nonprofits that are being ran by Mrs. Newsom, the wife of Governor Gavin Newsom. But the narrative that Governor Newsom is trying to create is that President Trump and the Department of Justice is actively going after him and his family. But according to the article from CNN, what it's suggesting is that the person familiar with the matter, with the investigation, insisted that the agency's political leadership, we're talking about the Eastern District of California, that they weren't involved in opening up the investigation, saying that the probe was instead prompted by whistleblower reports last year. And this is to show you that President Trump and the Department of Justice had nothing to do with targeting Governor Gavin Newsom or his wife, because if there are whistleblower reports, then the Department of Justice, they have to investigate it. And here I have this article to show you that tries to explain exactly what is going on with Mrs. Newsom, the wife of Governor Gavin Newsom. And the article is titled, Gavin Newsom's Wife and Her Firm Pocketed $3.7 million from Her Gender Stereotypes Charity. These are the nonprofits that they're talking about. And the article goes on to say that the organization brings in between $1 million and $1.7 million a year in grants and donations, with roughly $300,000 of it going straight to her and her company in recent years, according to financial records. And the article continues to say that the salary for the median executive at a nonprofit that size as Mrs. Newsom is just shy of $32,000. According to figures from the IRS database, Mrs. Newsom and her company earned almost 10 times that number. Her unusually high compensation to her and her company has recently sparked criticism from charity watchdogs, with a Daily Mail analysis showing Mrs. Newsom and her nonprofit colleagues earn more than 95% of charities of a similar size. As you can see, there are a lot of issues regarding Mrs. Newsom and the charities and nonprofits that she's running, which is one of the reasons why Governor Gavin Newsom is clearly panicking, which is one of the reasons why he's trying to get ahead of this to create the narrative that he's being targeted politically. And here we have another video, or a part of that video, where Governor Gavin Newsom had a message for Donald Trump. He's addressing President Trump directly, and this is what he had to say. Play clip.
To Donald Trump, who I know is watching because he watches everything, I have a message for you. You can subpoena my records. You can investigate me. You can harass me. Put my name on every and any enemies list you have, but leave my wife and family out of your personal vendetta. I'd like to say something to my wife. These times are not normal. They're not ordinary. I love you, and I'm sorry he's doing this. You have not earned a single one of the indignities that he's trying to inflict on you and our children. And to Donald Trump, this country does not belong to you. It does not belong to your cronies. And we're going to fight your lawlessness.
That was Governor Gavin Newsom clearly panicking, because there are a lot of questions in regards to his wife and the charities, the nonprofits that she's running. And right here, Governor Gavin Newsom is begging, please, do not investigate my wife. Do not investigate Mrs. Jennifer Newsom. You can come after me, Mr. Newsom. You can come after Gavin Newsom, but leave the wife out of it. And we don't know if Governor Gavin Newsom, which it seems like he's been hiding behind his wife, having his wife doing all the dirty work, basically. You know, that is what it sounds like. You know, this is just me speculating. But at this point, it is clear to say that that family is cooked. But Mrs. Newsom is not the only person that's causing speculations online, because Governor Gavin Newsom's former chief of staff, Dana Williamson, was indicted and pleaded guilty for fraud in California. And a lot of people, they're speculating if she has anything to do with this investigation into the Newsoms. And this article, it says, Newsom's former chief of staff, Dana Williamson, was indicted in November of 2025 on federal charges alleging her involvement in a scheme to steal campaign money from former U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services, Xavier Becerra.
A plea deal has been reached in one of the most closely watched cases in California politics. Dana Williamson, former chief of staff to Governor Newsom, pleaded guilty to 3 felonies, and in exchange, the federal government dropped 20 other charges against her.
As you can see, the former chief of staff to Governor Gavin Newsom pleaded guilty to federal charges regarding corruption. And there's a lot of corruption in California. And that brings us to the end of this video. Please let me know what you think in the comment section below. Please let me know what you think. If Governor Gavin Newsom is lying, do you think he's actually under investigation? Also, please consider liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one.